Welcome traders to another edition of the Bitcoin Minute. It's been a long time since we've done a show, but with the midway point between halvings coming up in the next week or two, I thought this would be a prudent time. Now we're looking at a weekly Bitcoin chart in logarithmic scale, and what I've just gone ahead and done is draw in the 3 halving dates. So what do I mean about the mid-halving point? That is simply the halfway point between one halving and the next, when half of the required blocks have been mined. And the green vertical lines represent each of the previous halving dates. And when we draw on these lines, it's pretty apparent that Bitcoin follows a cycle that coincides with these dates. So how do these cycles play out? As you can see, for the year to 2 years following a halving, we have robust rallies. Following that, we have an extended correction, and if the pattern continues, we will still be seeing some of this extended correction play out over the next couple months. Following that period, we have consolidation and a base forming prior to the next halving cycle. Let's draw in the mid-halfway points. Now we've gone ahead and just added those midway points, and as you can see, we are fast approaching our next midway point. Should take place in the next week or two. Now, historically, what we've seen in this halving cycle is at the midway point, we've already entered that extended correction. It's about halfway between the correction beginning and the correction ending in both of these last 2 cycles. So I've gone ahead and put in the price difference between the apex and the bottom in each of these cycles. At the lowest point, we have traveled about 85% from our apex. And at the midway point in each of these cycles, we've already accounted for approximately 60% of that 80% decline. Now let's zoom in on our current pricing. And what you can see is that if this pattern continues, we could expect to see $40,000 by the midway point, and over the next year to 2 years, we will hit a low. Now, that's not what I'm predicting to happen. Another interesting aspect to this cyclical nature of Bitcoin pricing is that most of us are aware of the correlation between the NASDAQ and Bitcoin. The NASDAQ composite heavily correlates to Bitcoin pricing, and I want to show you how it actually seems to follow these halving cycles as well. We have just put up the NASDAQ composite in logarithmic scale as well. And as you can see, during the first half after the halving, as identified in these green bands, the NASDAQ as well as Bitcoin experienced a major rally. The only difference being NASDAQ continues to rally while Bitcoin corrects towards the end of this green band. But as far as these white bands in here, both of these markets seem to consolidate in these time frames. So if this cycle were to continue, we can expect to see further consolidation in the NASDAQ and a further decline in Bitcoin. Again, that's not what I'm predicting, but history does tend to repeat itself. Bitcoin is one of those markets that has had so many harmonics play out in its timeline that it wouldn't surprise me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. We'll talk to you next time. I wanted to remind you guys that if you go over to thegoldforecast.com and you click on Bitcoin, you can read all my latest articles. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you can sign up for our free crypto newsletter. And once I reach 100 subscriptions, I will start implementing trade alerts via email. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.